Chapter 102. Nevertheless, Mr. Lane was completely different. This was because he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, seeing as he came from a famous second-generation rich family. He had not experienced any shortage of money ever since he was born. Sherlin did not want to offend Mr. Lane, but he did not want to break the rules for antique trade either, and so, he continued looking at Alex, hoping that the latter would change his mind. Alex knew that Sherlin was pleading with him, but he simply ignored his plea and replied coolly, "No." Sherlin was left utterly helpless and could only sit on the ground and grunt in case Mr. Lane kicked him again. "Look at how useless you are," Mr. Lane yelled as he scowled at Sherlin. After that, he glanced at Alex before saying arrogantly, "You bought this pebble for $400? I will pay you $40,000 if you give it to me." The people who had crowded around them exhaled loudly as soon as they heard Mr. Lane's words, only able to look at Alex with an envious expression on their faces. He had bought the pebble for a mere $400, and now, the price of the pebble had already increased by 100 times in just a matter of minutes. This was clearly a very profitable deal for Alex. Furthermore, anyone could tell that the owner of the stall had obviously picked up the pebble from a river or by the beach because there were thousands of similar-looking pebbles around those areas. Trump was also very excited when he heard Mr. Lane's offer. After all, Alex would be able to make a profit from this sale, and he would be able to make up for the money that he had lost to the owner of the stall yesterday. However, Alex raised his head and smiled at Mr. Lane before replying, "As I have already told you earlier, I am not selling this pebble. Even if you pay me $400,000, I am still not selling this pebble to you." "You!" The expression on Mr. Lane's face immediately turned ugly as anger flashed in his eyes. The crowd around them became boisterous as they whispered amongst themselves, debating if Alex was publicly refusing to sell Mr. Lane the pebble because he wanted to embarrass him. "Lowlife! Are you trying to pick a fight with me now?" Mr. Lane asked as he sneered at Alex. "Do you really think that there is anything on Old Street that I cannot afford to buy? Today, if I do not get what I want, no one is getting it either." After he was done speaking, Mr. Lane turned around and signaled to his bodyguards. As soon as they received his instruction, the bodyguards quickly ran forward and surrounded Alex. The crowd was also shocked at the scene that they were witnessing. Trump was also stunned. The Lane family? They were even more influential and wealthy compared to the White family. It was no wonder why Mr. Lane was willing to spend $8,000 on a pair of fake Celadon cups. It was because this was just a small sum of money to him. And it did not mean anything to him at all. He did not care whether the antique was authentic or not, he was simply buying it because he could. Meanwhile, the bodyguards surrounded Alex aggressively. Afraid that things would escalate and get out of hand, Trump looked at Alex and tried to ask him to hand the pebble over to Mr. Lane. However, Alex simply stared at the bodyguards before saying, "I still stand by my words. I am not selling my pebble. No matter what you do, I will not sell this pebble to you. What is mine is mine. No one in this world can ever take my belongings even if he is God. I will prove to you that I can take this away from you." Then, Mr. Lane replied arrogantly, "Let me tell you something. I am God. You are just a nobody who has barked up the wrong tree. Are you sick of living?"